Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Bryony and I am one half of the Indecisive Readers. Today I am here to talk about my March TBR. I am once again doing TBR Twister, however I do need to address a couple of things with it. When I started it, it would be 4 categories of prompts, so like content, physical book, other and community suggestions, which is working out great. What is working out less great is that combined with the format, which I have given each limb on the spinner, and they're fine, but the problem is I'm getting a lot of like library picks and ebook picks, or just formats that don't quite match up with the prompt with books I already have or that are on my immediate TBR. So what I've decided is, instead of having to choose one that fits both the prompt and the format, I will choose one that I either want or need to read that fits the prompt, and if I don't have one immediately I will go for one with the format as well. So like if I have a thriller pick from the library but I've got a thriller physically I can read, I will read that. But if I have a 500-page one to read and it said to read an audiobook and I don't have one immediately, I will find one that I can listen to as an audiobook. Hopefully it will work out better, because then I am stressing myself out less, because this is obviously meant to be a fun thing and it's not going to be fun if I'm stressing. But yeah, I don't know whether I should get a punishment for it, whether I should slightly change the rules to kind of fit that, but let's just get on and do my spins. Well, that's both right hand, which one's more comfortable, neither. Blue. Oh, yellow you said. Which is scared because of hype. The first roll gave me the prompt scared of hype, and so for this I'm going to read an arc, and that is Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. The cover is wonderful, I love it. Basically I was sent this by the publishers, so thank you very much Headline Books, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. It comes out 29th of April, so it's not like a high priority, but I would like to read it in March so I can obviously review it in time for the deadline. I'm scared of the hype for this one because everyone that seems to love it when it was released, when it was announced, people were really excited, loved the cover, loved the concept. So I'm a little bit frightened about what I'm going to think of it, but I think it's going to be great, and also it just looks great. It's a kind of retelling, a feminist retelling of the story of Ariadne and Theseus, I think, which has something to do with the Minotaur. I'm gonna try and do a bit of research and kind of try and read up on the story before I read it, because sometimes when I read Greek myth retellings I'm like, I appreciate it but I don't know it. So that's my plan, and that is my first book. Ready? You gonna help with this one? No, that was there, wasn't it? Heard good things about. The next role I have was for the prompt heard good things about, and so for this I have chosen Law by Alexandra Bracken. This is again a Greek myth kind of modern day retelling with kind of Hunger Games apparently inspired elements. I think there's kind of a game around the city and it involves the Greek gods, and I'm very excited to read it. It is the March and April, yeah, we're in those months. It's the March and April pick for Myth Reads, and so I'm really excited to get to it quite so soon. This is the Fairy Loot copy, and so I am excited to be able to read it straight away, because sometimes when I get book subscription boxes I kind of delay reading them or just don't get around to them even if I'm excited. It looks pretty, it looks pretty, it looks pretty, and so yeah, I'm really excited to read it. Left foot green. I'm just in real pain right now. I don't want to fall on your man, that's not helping. Oh no. Okay. I'm letting myself get away with it because otherwise it's gonna hurt. Read a book not set in the UK or the US. I'm gonna kind of caveat that by saying not a fantasy book, because obviously they're not. The next prompt I have is to read a book not set in the UK or the US, so I have chosen a book I hope set in Mexico, and that is Gods of Jade and Shadow by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I don't really know a lot about this, but I believe it is, again, oh my god, all the retellings, I didn't notice this. It's a retelling of kind of Mexican Incan mythology, I assume. I don't really know a lot about it, but the cover looks pretty. I have it on my Kindle and I have heard some good things about it too. Right foot yellow. Just gonna go for a squat for a while. I'm really warm, I need to take this off. Thinking about unhauling. The next prompt I have is for a book I might unhaul, and I was given a library prompt for this, and this is when I was like, I can't do the format all the time because I don't want to unhaul books from the library, although I am actually going to listen to the audiobook of this, which I am going to borrow from the library. But the book is I Am Number 4 by Pitcairn's Law. A few months ago, I think it was kind of November time, I filmed a video with a load of books that I was like, I do want to read these, but I also want to unhaul them. So I have actually a whole shelf of books that I want to read before I unhaul. This is one of them. I could get the library audiobook loan, and so I thought I would. It's one I've had on my shelves since The Hunger Games was a big thing, so I've been meaning to read it for a long time. I think there's a film of it. I did put it on my TBR in January. I will get to it this year. I am determined. I don't know where this hand was. Where was this hand? Was it green? Oh god, no, again. Ow. What are you gonna... Oh, thank you. Then right hand green you put there. Right, so blue was thriller or mystery. The next prompt I have is for a thriller. Now I haven't really read many thrillers. I don't own many, and I do own two, but I wanted to read this one, which isn't probably technically a thriller, but I'm going to read it anyway. That is Bunny by Mona Awood. I don't know what this is going to be like. I have heard many mixed reviews. I've heard a lot of people just saying it's weird, so I don't know if that's necessarily bad or not, but it is a book that is weird that I will read. Here we are. I am quite looking forward to reading it in a weird, twisted way. I want to see why it's so weird and twisted, and I feel like it's kind of the dark academia thriller kind of thing. And then you chose right hand green, which I think it was already. I'll go to that one, which is a cold setting. Thank you, Mo. The final role I have is for a cold setting. For this, I'm going to read The Crooked Mask by Rachel Bird, which is, again, a retelling, this time of Norse mythology. I read the first one in this, I think it's a duology, it might be a series, this month, and I really enjoyed it. It was very easy to read. I read it in 2 nights. I probably could have read it in 1 if I was that dedicated, and so I hope this will be kind of like a nice break from all the books on my TBR. It's going to be an easy read, it's going to be a quick read, and hopefully I will enjoy it. I have heard a lot of people actually say that the sequel was better than the first one, and the first one was great, so high expectations. Those are the books I have from the prompts, but I do also have some more books I want to get to. I have 3 arcs that I will get to in a minute, and I have 5 books on hold from the library. It doesn't necessarily mean I will get to them, but I would quite like to read them at some point. They include Pandora's Jar by Natalie Haynes. I have the audiobook of this, and I quite like just always having an audiobook handy because I'll just read it at some point, or just read it whilst I'm doing other stuff, which is always handy to have. I also have A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I am reading the first one in that series at the moment. Really enjoying it, and so I would quite like to read the next one straight away just because I've enjoyed it so much. I also have Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. I've heard mixed things about this. I've heard some people say it's insane and very weird. I've also heard people say it's good, so we're going to read it. I also have Queer by Meg John Barker, which is a very short graphic novel. Kind of feel like I should save it for when I've got a short prompt, but I'm interested in reading it anyway. And I also have Green Witch by Suzanne Cooper, which is the 3rd book in the Darkest Rising sequence, and I have read the previous 2 so far, kind of every other month. as audiobooks, and so I might as well carry on with them. 2 other arcs I have were sent by the same publishers, and they come out on the 13th of April, so again not like a rush, but I would quite like to read them this month so I can review them. The first is Ahead of Her Time by Judy Piaticus. By her. This is about a woman who started up her own publishing brand. I'm interested in publishing, and therefore I feel like this will be quite an interesting thing to read to see how she got to it. I also have Living and Loving in the Age of AIDS, a memoir by Derek Frost, which is about a guy living in the 80s and his partner gets AIDS, I think, and it's kind of exploring that. All the profits of this book apparently go to AIDS charity, which is really interesting, but I'm interested to read this, and I think it'll be a really insightful read on a subject I should know more about but I don't currently. Hopefully I'll just read both of them in the evening. I've kind of got into the habit of like reading a physical book for like half an hour. The final arc I would like to read, because it also comes out on the 13th of April I think, is Malice by Heather Water. Malice is a queer retelling of Sleeping Beauty. I'm really excited to read it. I think it's going to be fab. Not only is this a queer retelling of Sleeping Beauty, it is also a kind of villain story, which will be really, really interesting. I think it's going to have so many interesting relationships, so many interesting characters, and I just really want to read it. So yes, that's my TBR for the month, Upside Down. I'm really looking forward to like all these books, which is exciting. I hope they're going to be fab. I hope I'm going to find some new favourites, and I'm just very excited. Let me know if you're also looking forward to reading any of them. Let me know if you're looking forward to the arcs of some of these, because I know some of them you can't read. Let me know if you have read any of them already, or if you're joining in with any of the readathons, and I will see you in another video.